What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on ESPN with a 10-team full PPR mock where we will be selecting 9th overall. So it should be pretty interesting. And while we wait for our pick to come, a quick reminder, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section your thoughts along with any other questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's take a look at this draft. It is officially kicked off. The first 4 picks, now 5 picks, are in the book. They are as follows: Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Travis Kelce, and now Cooper Kupp. So we will be on the clock here shortly, and it's not a bad position to be in. You know, we're picking 9th overall. So basically here, I'm going to go with best player on my board. I'm going to try and, put together a somewhat balanced roster. And what I'm going to do here first is let's take Tyreek Hill, and then I'm going to go with one of either Bijan or maybe Nick Chubb as my running back 2, or, my second selection. So we went with Tyreek Hill. Nick Chubb is still on the board. Bijan Robinson was selected immediately after our pick of Tyreek Hill. And, not a bad position to be in. Here, I'm kind of taking a more balanced approach. So running back and wide receiver coming out of the first 2 rounds. Not going super heavy on one positional group over the other. So I could have gone a Tyreek Hill and a Devontae Adams, for example. I could have gone, Bijan Robinson and paired him up potentially with Nick Chubb or Tony Pollard, something like that. But let's kind of take this nice and slow, nice and easy, balanced approach. Not too many drop-offs from one positional standpoint, and see how this thing goes, and if we have any regrets when it's all said and done. But look, it's really going to get a little bit tougher come the 3rd, 4th round, because while we do essentially have back-to-back picks, the player pool of values isn't going to be that much in our favor. So, kind of just breaking this thing down as far as picks that we're seeing in the first round, no issues. I mean, you guys know how I feel about these wide receiver runs ahead of the running back position. I disagree with it. Derrick Henry going 8th overall ahead of the likes of Bijan, Pollard, Nick Chubb in full PPR. I disagree with that as well. In the second round, Stephon Diggs, Nick Chubb on our end, Tony Pollard, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown. I can appreciate A.J. Brown not going ahead of some of these other wide receivers, but I think Garrett Wilson should also be on that list that's going above him. So we're back on the clock here. And right now, I don't love the running back situation. I'm not taking a quarterback here. I'm on record saying that that's not the way I roster build. So I'm going to go with a group of guys here that I like in Calvin Ridley and probably Keenan Allen. I'm looking at the running back position, and I don't love any of these guys right now in this range. I think maybe if we have a little bit of patience, that some of these guys in this range, in the 50s range, can get back to us. So here, I'm just going to take the approach of building out wide receivers that I really like, and Tyreek Hill and Calvin Ridley, along with Keenan Allen, I think are a good trio to begin with. And then, we're going to address the running back position afterwards, because you kind of got to go value, right? You have to go best player available, and we're not lacking in one area. We haven't addressed, at least in the first 2 picks, like I said before, one area over the other. So we were truly able, in my opinion, to go best player overall, high upside, and get that figured out with Ridley and Keenan Allen. But going back to kind of our round-by-round analysis, I think Garrett Wilson should have gone ahead of A.J. Brown in full PPR. Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs still trending towards end of the second round selections, but at that ADP, I'd pull the trigger on them. I think, they end up playing the majority of the season. in round 3. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jalen Waddle, Josh Allen. So first quarterback off the board. I can appreciate that it's not in the second round. So, at least thumbs up for that. Chris Olave, I was really hoping would fall to us. Joe Mixon, another guy that I was potentially looking at. DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, ETN. We went with Calvin Ridley, obviously. Then Mark Andrews, Patrick Mahomes. We followed it up with Keenan Allen, Jalen Hurts. And this is why I always say, look, Jalen Hurts went at the, call it start of the 4th round. To me, this is why you should never commit to being the first person that drafts a quarterback. Josh Allen went with the 3rd pick in the 3rd round. Jalen Hurts went with the 3rd and the 4th, so a full round later. I think that's a good example of just having patience at that position, especially if you're committed to selecting one of the top 3 guys. Then Najee Harris, Devonta Smith, Debo, Lamar, Jerry Jeudy, Aaron Jones. Well, I'm not the biggest Aaron Jones fan. Getting him at essentially the end of the 4th round, not bad value. So there is that, but I just don't quite believe in that offensive situation without Aaron Rodgers. I really don't. And especially when you have A.J. Dillon kind of breathing down your neck. But that's just me. Let's kind of look back at the player pool again, because we will be up shortly. And there's a couple of running backs here that I like. Kind of just looking at the list. We have, it's actually pretty running back heavy here. We have, well, now a little bit less so, but Rachaad White, Alvin Kamara, Miles Sanders, James Conner, Kenneth Walker, Alexander Madison. So here, out of all these guys, probably going to go with James Conner. I've been getting higher and higher on him as of late, and I stand by it. So Rachaad White, Alvin Kamara were just drafted. Now we have Miles Sanders, Alexander Madison. I want to continue to build that depth at the running back position. We've got Nick Chubb. We've got James Conner. Miles Sanders, he's got a little bit of a groin injury right now. I'm a little bit worried about that. So, that's a good example of kind of adjusting the rankings as you go. Also, that offensive line for the Carolina Panthers, I know it's just preseason, hasn't looked all that great. So, let's pivot a little bit, but not by much. We're going to go Alexander Madison here. I think either way, Madison or Miles Sanders would have been very solid picks at this point in time as our 3rd running back. So, I'm not mad about it. Yes, we're going to miss out on the quarterback position. Just kind of Justin Herbert. Justin Fields at this point is also a very good value pick. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, is still on the board. Let's take a look. Yeah, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence. So what we did here is kind of, I would say, my more prototypical approach, and that is in the first, 6 rounds, going running back and wide receiver heavy, more important positions, if you will. And then figuring out tight end and quarterback in the 7th and 8th round. If we get really, really lucky, then one of those quarterbacks that we mentioned fall to us, or one of these upper tight ends. But I think with the way this draft is going, a little bit more auto pick heavy now that we're a little bit deeper into it, we probably won't get the chance to land one of these top tight ends or one of these top quarterbacks. But, I'm kind of glad for that, because I think that, I want to put ourselves in more difficult situations. I want to talk about, guys that are outside of, the top 5 or the top 10, whatever. I want to talk upside and, good value picks at those positions. So I've said this before at quarterback, Trevor Lawrence also just got selected after Justin Fields. So there goes Deshaun Watson. Kyle Pitts also just got drafted. So yeah, we're going to be in a situation where we have to figure out, get creative at those spots, or just continue to load up on value, honestly. And I think there's still a lot of value to be had. Like tight end right now, there's a big drop off after Kyle Pitts and Dallas Goedert go. So I'm not going to force it. And I think that's a good lesson to have. Quarterback at this point in time, pretty much everyone has a quarterback. So we don't have to, we don't have to force that position either. I just took DJ Moore. Sure, I've got plenty of depth at that position, but I'm not going to pass up the value. And I think that's kind of been the takeaway of this draft so far. Value, value, value. When you see the value, take the player. So that's what I'm doing. I've got a roster with a lot of guys that I really like. I just took DJ Moore. I took Marquise Brown. So to me, this is a good situation, and we're going to wrap this thing up probably with a couple of picks that, I'm high on these guys. I've said it before. Aaron Rodgers is somebody that I like. If you're talking upside, Daniel Jones has upside. Kirk Cousins ain't the sexiest thing in the world, but he gets the job done, right? Tight end right now, looking at the group, I think there's going to be a little bit of a run, but, David Njoku, somebody like a Gerald Everett, Sam Laporta, Dalton Schultz, I don't mind any of those guys. And I think it's going to, be a good situation. We can always get a backup tight end as well to kind of, ensure that position a little bit. Well, I think we have to do that a little bit more so for the tight end position and the quarterback position because, with quarterbacks, we kind of know what we're getting at this point in time. Tight end's a little bit of a crapshoot outside of the top, names as far as the ones that we're familiar with. So I'll probably go, I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers here. I think, I just think he has a bounce back season in New York. I think it's a good situation. And then we're going to go with the tight end and kind of wrap this thing up because we've actually gotten pretty deep as far as how long we oftentimes extend these drafts for. But, hopefully it's beneficial to you guys. I think as far as positional players go, we did a very, very stable job of adding value when it was there. So here I'm going to go with quarterback. I could go with Evan Ingram first. It doesn't really matter to me. I think he's going to have a drop-off compared to last year, to be honest with you. I've already got Calvin Ridley. So I guess what I'm saying is Evan Ingram is somebody that I'm going to pass on in favor of somebody like a David Njoku. So let's get that. And with that, we kind of wrap up this roster. I don't mind this team. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I think we're really, really deep, pretty much across the board, especially a wide receiver, though. Agree, disagree, one way or the other. Let us hear it. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe. Give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future